G'day folks, it's Rob here, just down here tossing in some feed for the fish, and thought I'd bring you a little bit of a sad tale about a fish that went for a walk and didn't make it back to the tank in time. Basically we had a jumper, and rather than just throw the fish away or bury him in the ground, I thought I'd feed him to some little wriggly helpers we have down the back of the patch. So this video was shot over a week, and there's a little bit of an update on a few bits and pieces going on in the patch in the centre there as well. Without any more nattering on, I'll give you a bit of a look at this week's video. How's it going, folks? Thought I'd just give you a bit of an update on something I just found with the aquaponics. I missed giving these guys a bit of a feed this morning because we had the hangout and I had a bit of a sleep in. Had a bit of a family do yesterday. So when I came down, the standpipe was off. So I popped the standpipe back on, threw the feed in. Yeah, and they're having a feed. So all that's pretty hunky-dory. And I went to walk back inside and I found this around the corner between the barrels. So I dare say the standpipe has come off again, spooked the fish, and they've jumped out and perished. There's none around here. So fairly sure this is the only one. Maybe that net would have been a good idea. And anyway, I thought I would take this opportunity just to weigh it up to see what sort of a weight they have. And then I'll take you down and show you where we're going to put him. So there we go, sitting on 0. And that one's 366 grams. Yes, not very happy about this at all. Probably otherwise a very healthy fish, but it just didn't like having that blooming standpipe knocked down. Haven't seen the kookaburras around, so I don't think it's the kookaburras. The fish were up as soon as I came out this morning. So I'm just going to have to put a 316 screw in the end of that solids lifting outlet. But anyway, I'll show you what I'm going to do with old mate here. So this here is the drum I was talking about on the hangout. This is where we've been throwing a little bit of kitchen scraps and also all the mangoes that fell off the tree, because if they were left to rot on the ground, they would get Queensland fruit fly in them. And as you can see, it is absolutely crawling with black soldier fly larvae. Now, the good thing about these larvae is, for whatever reason, this doesn't stink. I have no idea why that is so, but for whatever reason, it just isn't smelling. You can see, it has a bit of an odor, but sort of like a fermented fruit juice. You can see there are other flies in there, but something about the black soldier fly larvae, they just deter the other maggots from forming. So what I thought I would do is pop old mate in here, and we'll leave it be for a couple of days, just push him down in there a little bit, and come back in a couple of days' time and see how much of him is left. I have a feeling he's going to disappear rather quick indeed, but look at these fellas. They definitely are very active. So I'll pretty much will leave that there. Hey folks, made up a little bit of a cover for this yesterday afternoon. Just as some of the pavers with holes in them, just sheet bend onto the cloth, just to keep those flies out. And I thought, if I can untangle my microphone cord, and give you a bit of a look at the perch in there. I don't know how close you want to get, Kira. Come on, Kira, you can do it.
There's a lot of glare.
There's a lot of glare. Well, that's close enough. So we'll just give them a bit of a lift. And as you can see, the little fellas, actually I'll take it from there, Coo, thank you, sweetie. The little fellas are crawling through the openings, through the gills and the mouth and whatnot. And they're, slowly devouring this little fella. What's interesting me is this little blowout on the belly. And it's looking rather, actually, it's feeling pretty hollow. I reckon they're well and truly inside him down in there. Don't worry, Kira, I will wash my hands. Oh yeah, they've punctured the flesh there. They have punctured the flesh there, so I would say in the next day or so, he'll be pretty much all gone. And it doesn't smell, does it, Kira?
It tastes like mango.
It tastes.
Smells like mango.
It smells like mango. And that, believe it or not, doesn't smell at all. So, it smells like mango, but there you go. I just can't get over how little smell comes from these black soldier fly farms, and you can make out a couple of the smaller maggots. Those ones there, they're the fruit fly maggots, I would say. So they're what are crawling up around the side and are drowning in this tray of water I have the drum sitting in. And once that little fella is being consumed at the end of the week, I am going to turn this into a little bit of a better design. Whether I'll use this drum or tip them all into something else, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I better try and shoo all these flies away and put this back on and wash my finger. So there we go, as easy as that. So it might be a bit hard to make out there, but I did zap in a 316 stainless steel screw just into that fitting there, and that will hopefully, sorry fish, that'll hopefully stop the standpipe from falling out. I can't see it coming out from this fitting up here, so I think the fish are fairly safe. And as you may have noticed before as well, I have lowered this opening just in case there are birds perching on the edge here and spooking the fish. According to Pauline, the neighbour who heard the splash, it happened just before the sun came up. So I have a feeling they've actually knocked the standpipe off themselves. What the jade perch do is they come along, they feed on the algae that grows on the side of the tank as well. So maybe that's got something to do with them slowly working it off. We don't know. Just quickly, I thought I'd answer a question here that I do get a lot, and that's about feeding the black soldier fly larvae to these fish here. We have fed them the black soldier fly larvae in the past, the mature ones that self-harvested. Unfortunately, I didn't realise at the time, but the fish were taking them and then spitting them out, and we ended up finding them in the radial flow settler. This was a number of years ago, probably about 2 generations of the aquaponic system ago. Keep in mind that it's just the jade perch I'm talking about here. I'm fairly sure that tilapia, koi and possibly trout will take the black soldier fly larvae that are self-harvested. So yeah, we pretty much all stopped feeding them the mature self-harvested ones. I did dig around the old black soldier fly barrel and pull out some smaller ones and fed them to the jade perch after they were washed off. And yeah, they took them, not a problem, but it's a bit of an effort to dig through that slop, trying to find the right size ones that they will take. My theory is that as they get mature to pupate, the larvae get a little bit of a harder shell to them, so maybe that's got something to do with them not being palatable to the jade perch. So yes, they will take them, but they need to be small, and I'm not prepared to sift them all out. We are growing the mealworms, which by the way are coming along nicely. We've got 3 generations now of the little mealworms in different tubs, so hopefully these guys will be getting their first weekly feed of the mealworms in probably about a month's time, so fingers crossed that will continue to go all right. But that's enough of that. Back to the video. We'll start off looking at cleaning out the veggie pod, then the garlic, have a look at the compost, and then we'll give you a look at the end of what happened to the fish. I'll show you a few things I've got up to. I emptied out the veggie pod to make way for this year's garlic. It was a bit of a pain in the butt, but I managed to get most of the roots out of there, just running the soil through the screen. And just over here we have the soil. Hopefully there's going to be no mint shooting in it. I'm not going to use it back in the veggie pod. I thought I'd just leave it just under cover for the time being, but I'll put it in a couple of barrels, just keep it moist so we don't kill off all the worms and bits and pieces in there. And just, yeah, fingers crossed we won't get any mint germinating in here, and I'll use it somewhere else down the back. I'm going to buy some more soil for the veggie pod though, because I have some garlic to plant out. I got a couple of Glen Large cloves I saved from last season. Actually saved a fair number from last season, and I also bought some new ones this season, hoping they were going to be the larger Glen Large like we've had in previous seasons, but that's not to be the case, unfortunately. So we do have some saved, some purchased, and down the back I've got some reshoots from last year's wicking barrel, so I'm going to try and transplant them in as well. And yeah, they'll just go into that veggie pod that'll sit down over there. Compost wise, yeah, this compost, but this compost is pretty much all stopped cooking now. We're sitting, oh, that's spores, I better be careful. The compost temp is sitting down around about 30 degrees Celsius. So yeah, but it looks like we're getting a lot of fungal activity because there is mushrooms breaking out everywhere in here, which is the idea. And I'm going to have to be really careful with those spores. But anyway, I'm really happy with the way the system's gone to now. I do have those other trees I want to mulch up and put in here, so I'll do that over the weekend when I get some free time, or maybe next week. We'll just wait and see what happens. And I'll give you a big reveal on the fish. So we had a bit of rain through the week and I didn't want it to fill up the black soldier fly larvae. So I put this little makeshift top on it. I didn't want to put a cap right over the top of it because it would just stop airflow and didn't want it to go manky in there. But yeah, we'll open it up and have a bit of a gander. And as you can see, there is no real visible sign of the fish other than this little bit down here. So, see if we can grab it. So there we go, folks. That's what remains of the fish. Might be able to see the bone sticking through the back there. So these black soldier fly larvae have done a fantastic job at turning that back into nutrient. All this stuff here theoretically could be run through, say, a compost worm farm or something like that to get it to go through the guts of the compost worms, or I could tip this maybe straight into the compost heap. That's the sludge. I am going to make some sort of a proper black soldier fly farm and tip these guys in there to start it off, because I'm sick and tired of trying to bury meat scraps and the girls just throw them in the bin. So it would be a good idea to compost as much as we can through the black soldier fly larvae. And we already know a couple of people with chickens who will happily take the black soldier fly larvae, I think. So yeah, I'm really impressed at how those little squirmers have looked after that fish in there. So there you go, folks. There's a bit of a look at what happened to the fish in the makeshift black soldier fly larvae farm. There is a really good time lapse of some black soldier fly larvae going through a fish here on YouTube, so I'll pop a link down in the description if I can find that, if you want to check it out. Now, I was hoping to get a proper black soldier fly farm set up this week. I just haven't had time to hook up the trailer and go out and buy a new barrel to make one up. It's going to be a design similar to a couple that I've seen here on YouTube. I'll pop links below if you want to check them out, and it will be situated down the back here somewhere. This week I've been a little bit flat out, just tidying up the yard. We've moved some bathtubs from out the back there. I've got to clean all these beds away and that compost heap as well, and a tub of garden soil, because we're getting some landscape work done at last. Woohoo! So we've got a quote that we've accepted, and they're coming down to build a retaining wall across the back there and one up the side fence there. Nice ColourBond fence on there all the way to the back of the house, and we're getting some bits and pieces done out the front. So a few folks would like a bit of a look at what we've got planned. I can do a video. Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't interested in it, but if enough people give it a thumbs up and a comment down below saying you want to see one, I'll knock something together. The other thing that's happened this week is we've had a bit of rain. This is yesterday's rain. It's pretty much all half filled that tray, and it filled the old veggie pod here to overflowing. The water was coming out the little drain hole down in there. According to our rain gauge, we had 55 millimeters of rain just yesterday alone. So I will be posting a clip on how I'm going to set up the black soldier fly larvae farm once I nail it down, get some time and buy a barrel. So yeah, keep an eye out for that if you are interested. And also don't forget, leave us a thumbs up and a comment down below if you want to see the retaining wall and garden layout video. I think we've fairly much got the garden plans nailed down at this point in time. Would like to thank you all for popping along and checking out these videos. Really do appreciate it. And thanks again to all those folks who are supporting us through the YouTube membership program, and also the Farm Your Own Yard website that we built for supporters. I will pretty much leave it there though. I do hope you're all well and happy and your gardens are booming, and I will catch you next video. Cheers folks, take it easy.